You guys have been pushing me for more content, and I love it.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more
content. I'm stoked. I'm all about bringing you guys more breakdowns. And so this time around, we're going to look at UCLA and UW. This was a fun one for me because I haven't talked to you guys about UCLA yet. I've been watching their games, but haven't done a video segment on them. And so when I watched them this week, you could definitely see the development that this team's making. Yeah, they lost, but they're making strides. And it all starts with our young quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. There's a cool stretch of 3 plays that really show his development and Chip Kelly's play calling style. And on the Washington side, we're going to put on the offensive coordinator headset and look at the game through Bush Hamdan's eyes. He did a masterful job using one single formation and putting pressure on UCLA's defense, but then reacting to what the defense was giving him each time he called a new play. And it was just a great example of the mentality of a play caller and how he wants to attack the defense that I think you guys will enjoy. We're going to start with the 1st and 10 for UCLA. They're driving, they're in UW's territory, and they're going to dial up a pure progression pass concept. The reason I say pure progression is that regardless of coverage, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to work 1 to 2 to 3. 1, 2, 3. Or in this case, it's 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 because there's 5 options. There's a lot of steps to this pass concept, so bear with me. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson's read is going to start with a ball fake to the running back. That's just to get the linebackers to step up and just give them a little bit different action. But his first read is going to be the receiver on the top of the screen on a go ball. That will only be thrown versus man coverage 1 high, or if it's cover 2 in a hole shot, and we'll see that in a sec. And a hole shot means that in cover 2, you have a corner that's sitting in the flat and a safety that's high above. So the hole shot throws on a line right in between those guys. So that's his first progression. His second progression is an over route by the slot on the bottom of the screen from about 10 to 15 yards. His third progression is the receiver on the bottom of the screen coming on a post curl. And his fourth progression is the running back that went on a ball fake. He now bubbles into the flat area. So he's going to go 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and work his eyes from left to right. What's also important to note is DTR has protection responsibilities in this as well. So protection-wise, the offensive line is going to pick up the 4 down lineman plus the Mike linebacker. Or at least that's how my team's always ran it. The running back that's on the fake has protection responsibility with the outside linebacker on the bottom of the screen. If he were to blitz, the running back's got to pick him up. What Dorian Thompson-Robinson's responsible for is any pressure to his front side, to the left side. If a corner comes, if a linebacker comes, he's responsible for that. And if that occurs, he will throw his hot arrow route to the left. So when I said 5 progressions initially, that's the last one, or I guess the forgotten one. Really, that's the first thing DTR should be thinking about when he comes to the line of scrimmage. So with all that in mind, it's a little complex, but he's working from left to right, 1 through 5, but it all starts with him being aware if he's hot. Let's see how he operates here.
About persistence pays off. He said he called Deshaun Foster, the running back coach here at UCLA, every day. He said, give me a chance. And he came in here.
A corner blitz, right? What do we talk about? If a corner or a linebacker from that side decides to blitz, that's on DTR. He has to answer with a hot arrow. That's a great job by the young quarterback knowing where he's hot and answering with a little quick arrow route to Caleb Wilson for a 5-yard gain. It looks so basic, but that shows me that the young quarterback is developing. He's processing. He's not just blindly going through his reads and hoping that he just finds an open receiver and doesn't throw any interceptions. No, DTR's processing protections, and oftentimes with young quarterbacks, that's the last element to come. So if you're a UCLA fan, you should be stoked. It's a basic 5-yard throw, but it tells me that this guy's developing and this guy's growing from week to week. A great job on first down by DTR. Chip Kelly elects to go right back to the same play on second down. Let's watch how he operates.
Big time plays. 2nd and 5. DTR flushed out of the pocket. Rolls, throws, complete. At the 10 to Theo Howard.
This time the corner doesn't blitz, so he's good to go. But unfortunately, a defensive lineman creeps through and Dorian's forced to get flushed out. But what I love is he still sticks with his progression. He still keeps his eyes downfield. Okay, a defensive lineman came through, but let me get to my 3rd and 4th progression, and he finds that post curl for a great gain. And that's what you love about DTR is his legs, his ability to get outside, find someone open, and make a play out of nothing. All right, Coach Kelly, it's 1st and goal. What play are we going with? Right back to the same exact play, just flipping sides with it.
All that well on the run, but that time, that was a dart. Play fake, Kelly throws a dart right there. Touchdown, Bruins, to Theo Howard.
A great ball by DTR, but what I'm impressed with most is the recognition. If you recall, when I walked through progressions 1 through 5, I mentioned that on progression 1, he'd only throw it under 2 scenarios. Well, one of those scenarios happens right here, in that there's a cover 2 corner who jumps the arrow route. Therefore, in DTR's brain, that needs to set off a red alert sign.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
That, hey, I can drive this hole shot behind the corner, but in front of the safety. And that's exactly what he does here. This is great recognition by a young quarterback and shows me that he's processing the information. It's fun to follow that sequence of 3 plays because you can see DTR's development in terms of how he's processing things mentally, but you also get a sense of Chip Kelly and his play calling style in that, all right, we called it once, it worked, let's go right back to it the next play. Oh, it worked again? Who cares? Let's just flip sides and go back to it for a 3rd time for a touchdown.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
But now I want to move to Washington's offense. And when you watch this, I want you to pretend you're Bush Hamdan. Pretend you're up in the booth, you're calling plays, you got your offensive coordinator goggles on, your play call sheets out, and I want you to have an appreciation for how masterful this job of play calling is for UW. Washington's going to start in a formation they probably run at least a dozen times this game. There's 2 receivers out wide, and they're in 12 personnel, meaning they have 2 tight ends, and both tight ends are off the line of scrimmage. And as we roll this play, you're going to see Washington great at the point of contact. They're going to get a hat for a hat, and Myles Gaskin goes for 8 yards. So if you're Bush Hamdan, you're saying, all right, great. I'll take 8 yards on a run play all day. So naturally, he's going to come right back to that play. Now he starts in the same formation. The only difference here is that he motions one of the tight ends to the other side. And once again, the pitch to Myles Gaskin, great at the point of contact, pushes forward for a 6 or 7 yard gain. You'll take that all day if you're Bush Hamdan. So mentally you're thinking, all right, great, that formation's working out well for me. I've called it twice. Let's note that and come back to it later on. But here we are again, same formation, 1 receiver on each side. Both tight ends are off the line of scrimmage. Savon Ahmed's in the backfield. They're going to pitch it to him. And once again, pushes forward for a 5 or 6 yard gain. 8 yards the first time, 7 yards the second time, 6 yards the third time. If you're UCLA's defense, you're beginning to creep up. You're thinking, we're getting killed by this one formation. We got to adjust. We got to bring an 8th defender in the box. We got to get safeties closer to the line of scrimmage. And that's exactly what they do as we watch this next play.
It is rare you see a team and a quarterback take the snap under center. Pro style. That play blown up by Chris Barnes.
This time, the safety and the linebacker are both screaming up. It's the same formation, another run play, but UCLA stops it at the point of attack, and it's a big 2nd and 1 stop for them. So now, if I'm Bush Hamdan, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, I've called this formation 4 times. The first 3 times, it was a great run play, 8 yards, 7 yards, 6 yards. I went back to it a 4th time, and UCLA is now adjusted. They're screaming a linebacker, screaming a safety up towards the line of scrimmage. So how do I counter? And the way he counters is he says, all right, we're going to bunch everyone down even more. We're going to have those 2 tight ends off the line of scrimmage. We're going to change up personnel a little bit, but we're going to give them that same action, force that safety and that linebacker to come up, and we're going to throw it over their head, and watch how that occurs right here.
This is 3rd and 2. Play fake. Browne going up top. He's got Fuller open. Got it.
Not necessarily the best throw by Browne, but nevertheless, it's still a huge play. And this play is a result of the entire quarter before, you're running this same formation, or at least a very similar look, and you're running it down their throat. 8 yards a pop, 7 yards a pop, 6 yards a pop, forcing UCLA to adjust. And once they adjust, and they had that big tackle behind the line of scrimmage on 2nd and 1, you're saying, all right, we see ya. Your safety's screaming up, your linebackers are blitzing. Now it's time to throw it over your head, and that's exactly what Bush Hamdan does here. We talked a little Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and we put on our Bush Hamdan headset. It's fun to see UCLA's growth, fun to look at Washington's continued dominance in the Pac-12, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week here.